Have you ever said these words? I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be selling anything. Okay. If you have ever said any of these words, I can totally relate to having the desire to do some form of business or service or having a product that you're offering, but you don't want to come across as salesy. Okay. I don't either. And nobody wants to have somebody in their life who is salesy or somebody who is pushy. But one thing I want you to consider is to change your perspective of sales and change your perspective of what it means to make a transaction that involves the exchange of money in order to have a product or a service. So, in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can stop being afraid to sell and to do these things instead. So, if this is the first time you are catching one of my videos, I am Monique Script, and I'm going to give you 4 specific things. So, number 1 is to recognize that there is value attached to your service. So, one of the things that people often do is feel like, oh, I don't want to charge for this, or I just want to help people. I just want to serve people. I can't tell you how many times I have coached people and they've said this, well, I just want to help people. I just want to serve. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a transaction that happens in order for people to get results. And you also have to remember that if somebody is coming to you for something, you have knowledge, you have expertise, you have education, you have things that they are having a transaction, a financial transaction, in order to receive something from you. So do not minimize the value that you are bringing. And I think this often comes up for Christians because you feel like, I just want to help, and you have such a good heart, but you're not recognizing that it is just as important to have that financial transaction. Okay. And you also have to respect other people who have studied a certain thing, who have done a certain thing, that when you are paying for something, it's because they have a value, they have education, they have something. And so you are exchanging your finances in order to receive a certain service. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Number 2 is to change your perspective. Have a different perspective. Okay. You need to start recognizing that exchanging currency is exchanging value. Okay. So I was reading in Genesis. Okay. Genesis chapter 47. Matt and I are going through the Bible in a year again this year. And it's a little bit of different setup than I've done the Bible recap. And this one is a little bit different. But anyway, today was Genesis 47. I read this and I was like, I need to add this into my video. Okay. Joseph, let me actually read it to you. So, a little context is Joseph was given, Pharaoh was given a dream, and Joseph was asked to interpret the dream. Okay. And the dream was about these cows, and there were 7 cows that were, healthy and big, and there were 7 cows that were not. Okay. And the interpretation of the dream is that Joseph was able to tell Pharaoh, hey, there's going to be 7 years of plenty, and then there's going to be 7 years of famine. So Joseph was given this insight that during the 7 years of plenty, they needed to store up grain. And that's exactly what he did. He stored up grain, he stored up resources. He was extremely wise with the resources that they had during the years of plenty, so that when the 7 years of famine came, they had the ability to have what they need, to have food, to be able to take care of themselves because they had been wise in storing up what was needed. Okay. So fast forward. So he's given this dream. Fast forward, there comes a period of time where the famine has hit. And because Joseph was obedient in the time of plenty, he has resources and he's literally selling to people. He's like selling to people all of the things that he has in order to, bring in additional resources. Okay, so I'm going to read. This is in Genesis chapter 47. Okay, I'm reading starting in verse 13. It says, there was no food, however, in the whole region because of the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan in payment for the grain they were buying. Okay? So keep that in mind. When the money of the people of Egypt and Canaan was gone, all Egypt came to Joseph and said, give us food. Why should we die before your eyes? Our money is all gone. Okay, so the people come to Joseph because they know Joseph has been storing up grain. And they're like, hey, we're about to die. Like, can you please give us some of your food? Verse 16, Joseph says, then bring your livestock. I will sell you food in exchange for your livestock since your money is gone. Okay, so here's something that really stood out to me from this passage is Joseph did not say, oh my goodness, like you have nothing. I'm just going to give this to you. He did not say that. He said, bring your livestock. I will sell you food in exchange for your livestock. He sold them food in exchange for something else. There was a transaction. And this was in a time where there was such desperation, and Joseph still sold in return. There was a transaction that happened. Okay, so they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he gave them food in exchange for their horses, their sheep, their goats, their cattle, their donkeys, and he brought them through that year with food in exchange for all of their livestock. Okay, that's incredible. When that year was over, they came to him the following year. Okay, so this is now a second time. They came to him the following year and they said, we cannot hide from our Lord the fact that since our money is gone and our livestock belongs to you, there is nothing left for our Lord except for our bodies and our land. Why should we perish before your eyes, we and our land as well? Okay, so what happens is the first time they sell livestock, the second time they come to him, they're like, hey, Joseph, we literally have nothing. Like all we have is ourselves and our land. Like what can we do? Verse 19, why should we perish before our eyes, we and our land as well? Buy us and our land in exchange for food, and we, with our land, will be in bondage to Pharaoh. Give us seed so that we may live and not die, and the land may not become desolate. So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. Okay, and it continues on and on and on. But here's the point that I want to make. There was a situation, Joseph was given advance notice. Hey, there's going to be a famine. Store up. And this is a word for you. I'm going to get to this in just a second. But there was a famine. He was given knowledge ahead of time. He was told to store up. When the famine hit, Joseph sold the food in exchange for more things, in exchange for wealth, in exchange for what was needed for survival. Okay? So you have to remember that even in times when you feel like, oh man, this person needs help, or I just want to help them, I just want to serve them. This example, Joseph sold, right? He still required a payment for something. So stop fearing having that exchange, even if it's a way that you are serving or helping someone else. Okay. So number 2 is to change your perspective. Number 3 is when people pay, they pay attention. Okay, I did not make up this phrase. This comes from Myron Golden. When people pay, they pay attention. When they are given something for free, they don't respect it, they don't value it, they don't do it, they don't follow it, right? When they pay for something, they pay attention. They want to make sure, hey, I invested this amount of money, so I am going to do the things that I need to do. When I had coaching clients that were paying a certain amount for coaching, if they are paying a certain amount, they show up on calls, right? If there's ever times where I offer people something, hey, I'm happy to help you with this. Oftentimes, this is in the past, oftentimes they wouldn't show up, they wouldn't value it, they wouldn't prioritize it, they wouldn't do the things that I recommended. And so when people pay, they pay attention. When you are offering a service, when you are offering someone something, when they are paying you for that, they're going to get results because they're going to pay attention. They're going to do the things that they know are needed. If you are starting with a trainer and you're paying that person $75 an hour, right, to help you or to train you, then you're going to show up. You're going to do the things that they suggest to do. You're going to follow the nutrition plan, right? Whatever it is, because you are paying for something. So you're not going to be like, okay, I'm just going to pay this and not show up. Like when you pay, you pay attention. Okay. And then number 4 is that you are to store up grain for you and for others. Okay. So, in the same way that Pharaoh was given a dream, Joseph interpreted the dream. And because of that, he had the knowledge and the ability to follow the steps that God had given him to be prepared for when the famine came. Okay. So Pharaoh's given a dream, Joseph interprets it and has the knowledge to prepare. I want you to take that, what I just said, and use that as a parallel in your own life. What dream has God given you? What skill has He given you? What knowledge has He given you? What has He given you that can be monetized so that you can store up grain? This video is not about end times or, you know, eschatology, but I just want to make a comment is I do believe that we are living in a time where it would be wise to store up grain. It would be wise to prepare. It would be wise to have Goshen. It would be wise to make sure that you are prepared so that when the storms come, you have the ability to have stored up grain. You have the ability that other people can come to you and say, hey, we're in need of this, or we need help with this, or whatever, or your family is taken care of because you are a wise steward, right? In the kingdom economy, stewardship is something that is very important to God. And so if you are given the ability to do something, the ability to take your skill set and your knowledge and your expertise and to monetize it in some form, to build a business, to start a business, to start a coaching program, to start something online where you can monetize what God has given you. I believe that God's given you an assignment in order so that you can go and you can fulfill all that He has you to do in the kingdom, so that you can have Goshen, so that you can have grain, so that you can have the ability to store up when things get challenging and you have that already there. Okay. So I hope that this encourages you. I hope that this spoke to you. I hope that you really consider, okay, it's time to stop being afraid to sell things and to consider that maybe, just maybe, God has given you the ability to sell something, to sell knowledge in some form in order to fulfill all that He has called you to do. So I hope that this blesses you and you have a wonderful day. Oh, let me also mention one other thing. I am putting together a masterclass for those who want to know more about how do you monetize your skill set? How do you take your knowledge, your expertise, and turn it into a coaching program, a high ticket service? If that is something that you're interested in, drop the word waitlist and I will make sure to get you more information.